Our next speaker is Dr. Izzeldin Abuelaish, and he's a spectacular inspiration for peace and forgiveness in the world. The Palestinian infertility expert employs righteous anger, not for revenge, but to seek peace in the Middle East. Dr. Abuelaish lost 3 daughters and a niece in a horrific shelling in the 2009 Gaza war, but yet he still continues to be a proponent of peace between Palestinians and Israelis, and according to an Israeli colleague, is a magical secret bridge between the two cultures. He's been named one of the world's 500 most influential Muslims, and has been interviewed by heavyweights Anderson Cooper, Christiane Amanpour, and Sir David Frost, and has given speeches at such pulpits as the Canadian House of Commons, the American Congress, and the European Parliament. For 3 consecutive years, he's been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize and has been acclaimed by US President Barack Obama. I'm sure you'll find his presentation very heartfelt and with a lot of depth. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Izzeldin Abuelaish.
Thank you. Good morning. It's good to see you this morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I look at it, you know, are there people who are willing to come to listen? And I see it as a sign of hope, that we shouldn't underestimate ourselves, and just to try and to act. Because this world, as we see it, we have heard this morning, it's endemic of violence, of hatred, of diseases, fears, poverty, injustices. But we have to ask ourselves, we want to discover ways to be able to learn and find calmness inside ourselves for a better world. We need to learn and to practice to challenge ourselves, to work for a just a human world. My life as a Palestinian refugee who was born, raised in teeming poverty, deprivation, as a child, I never tasted my childhood. My life was a war. I was fighting on a daily basis just to survive. And at time you see others in this world who are living to fight. But it's important to understand that my suffering and what is happening in this world is man-made. And I looked at it, this is the hope. I can't challenge God, but I can challenge people like me. We can make a difference of not accepting it and taking responsibility. I will never accept the misery of life and this suffering. And my parents, my mother in particular, realized that the biggest weapon to face this misery of life is education. As a child, I dreamed, because someone can oppress you, occupy you, deprive you, but no one can prevent you from dreaming. So we need to dream. Dream big. Dreams are close to reality. I dreamed as a child to be a medical doctor. And life taught me that nothing is impossible in life. With hard work, we can achieve it. But as you know, life is full of surprises. No one can know what will happen tomorrow. And the most difficult time in my life was in 4 months period. Not the whole life. The whole life was a war. But even wars are different in the extent of it and the suffering. When I lost my wife, 16th of September 2008, and I felt it's the end of the world, because I fully believe children should be raised with their mothers. The mother is vital. And the orphan is not the one who loses the father. The orphan is the one who loses the mother. The incubator, the big heart, the love, the one who sacrifices, who gives. But Life, as Einstein said, life is like riding a bicycle. To keep balanced, we must keep moving. I kept moving. With the support of my beloved daughters, in particular Bisan, who was 20 years old, from whom I learned a lot. Bisan became the mother, the sister, the friend. She was in her final year at the university. At the age of 14, I sent Bisan to peace camps, and from there she came to say, I learned and found how similar are we as people when we want to discover that we are human without any brands. This is a Jewish, this is a Muslim, Christian, Druze. We are at the end similar. And that's our children who discovered it. Can we learn from our children? It's time to listen to them. They are wise enough to teach leaders of this world. Then 16th of January 2009, 4:45 p.m. is the day when an Israeli tank shell to bomb my daughter's room, killing 3 daughters and 1 niece. For nothing they did. They were girls armed with love, with education, with the plans, with the humanity. They were fighters for humanity. If I have of these girls 100, I will pray to God and to say I am blessed to have them. Their teachers used to fight to have them in their classes. They never succeeded, less than 97% in their schools. But as a believer, and we need to have faith, I said this tragedy is for good and must be invested for good. Because seconds after I left my daughter's room, the first bomb came. I asked myself why I was saved. If I stayed, I would be gone. Realize this is tragedy to be invested for good. And I was blessed to be a gynecologist, to manage emergency situation, and to think of saving lives. To think of my daughter Shada, who was severely wounded, my niece Ghaida, and my brother. And it's God's bless at that moment, it was supposed to be interviewed live by the Israeli TV. The world started to hear my cry and my appeal about saving lives, as I am, and I was the first Palestinian doctor to practice medicine in an Israeli hospital in 91. Because I believed in it. I fully believe medicine has one face. It has one culture, one value. It has a human face. Culture and value. To save human being and to value human life and to give. The happiest moment in my life is when I handle the baby to his mother. This cry of the newborn baby is a cry of hope, and to ask us, what future are we preparing for these newborn children? What legacy do we want to leave and inherit our children in this world? Medicine and health are the human equalizer and destabilizer. To equalize between people and to stabilize them. Medicine is justice. Saving one's life, you save the world. Killing one, you kill the world. And it's time to think of saving lives. And what can we do? When I wrote my book, I Shall Not Hate, because the people were expecting me to hate. And we are human. We have the right to hate, but we have choices. Is it the right way? Because once I saw my daughters killed in front of me, I swore to God and to my daughters, I will never rest or relax or give up and not to forget them. Because I fully believe one day I will meet them. I want to meet them, to say to them, I am proud of you. I am coming to meet you with the big gift that you sacrificed your holy souls and noble blood for. It's the justice for you and others, and the means to be used that we all are blessed to have. It's the wisdom, the kind words, and the good deeds. It's not with hate. I go to Gaza to visit the graves of my daughters to feel angry, to feel outraged of not accepting what happened. And what can I do to make a difference in this world? It's not with hate. You hate someone because you don't know that person. And if I want to bring my daughters the justice, I should be strong, determined, more focused, and healthy. It's not with hate. With hate, I am the weakest. With hate, which is a fire that eats and wastes the one who carries it, don't accept to be a victim more than once in life. I was a victim with the loss of my daughters, but I don't want to be a victim of this destructive hate. Hate is the biggest weapon of mass destruction in our souls. We must prevent and build a shield around ourselves. We need to feel angry, outraged of not accepting what is happening in this world, and to ask ourselves, what can we do to challenge it and make a difference? Not to blame. Don't waste your time of blaming others, but to take responsibility and move forward. Because if you started to look backwards, others in this life, they will pass you and you will be kept behind. Life taught me that our enemies is not you or others, but our ignorance, our arrogance, and our greed. And we need to start to know each other and to understand each other, and to understand that the antidote of hate is success. To succeed. And I learned from my daughters. My daughter Shada, who was severely wounded. And what did she suffer in 1 year? Mountains can't tolerate that. She spent 4 months in the hospital. She lost the sight in one eye and 2 fingers. She was in the high school, studying day and night to be one of the top 10 in Palestine in the high school. And she said, I have to go to achieve the plans of my sisters. In the hospital, with the bandages, she said, if I can't see by my right eye, I have the left. If I can't write by my right eye, hand, I have the left. Bring me pencils and papers to practice by my left hand. She did the exam. And the day we moved to Canada, they announced the result. Shada succeeded as nothing happened to her. 96%. What is she doing now? She's studying computer engineering at the U of T. That's the challenge, to be determined, to be focused, not to give up. And that's the challenge to the perpetrator, to succeed. He used the bullet. I am not going to use the bullets. I have stronger than bullets. The bullets are the weakest weapon. Words and the challenge and determination are stronger than bullets. So it's time for each of us to look around. and to ask and to learn, and what world do we want for us and our children? Do we want to continue turning a deaf ears about what is happening in this world? Or do we want to proact and prevent? Because through proacting and preventing, we protect ourselves. Because in this small world, we are living and riding the same boat. Maybe we are far from risk, but by distance, at the end, we are affected with what did we see on the screen? What did we learn about what is happening? So we need to ask ourselves, what actions can we do? As Martin Niemöller, the German Protestant theologist, who one day said at the times of the Nazis, they came first. As some people, they think they are far from risk. They came first for the communists, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the socialist, and I didn't speak out because he wasn't. Then they came for the Jews, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for the Catholic. He didn't speak out because he was a Protestant. Then they came for me. Sadly, by that time, no one was left to speak out to. How long do we want to turn the deaf ears and the blind eyes about what is happening in this world? It's time to act, because life is what we make it. Always has been, always will be. What do we plant, we will collect. And the courage is to act in time, to treat the patient in time. That's what did I learn. To intervene and to rush to stop the bleeding in time, not when the patient is dead. And the story of the young girl who believed in action and didn't underestimate her action. She was sitting on the beach when a heavy tide threw hundreds of starfish. She thought of saving lives. And she started to throw them one by one. A man came and looked at the girl. What are you doing? She said, I am saving lives. He was surprised. There are hundreds. It's not going to make any difference. But she was confident. And that's one of the messages. Don't reject yourself. Be confident that you can do it. You can achieve it. She taught him a lesson with evidence-based practice when she threw another starfish into water and said it made a difference to that one. My daughter, Bisan, said, everything starts small, then becomes big. Everything starts in one place and goes in different directions. Let us start to act and to do something. Don't wait for others. Start by yourself. Can say, I fully believe in hope, because hope is life. And as a doctor, I will never lose hope as long as the patient is still alive. And we need to change the course of the treatment and to ask. Life taught me that nothing is impossible in life. The only impossible thing in life I believe in is to return my daughters back. But I can keep them alive with actions and to send them blessings, prayers, and to say to them, Bisan, Mayar, Aya, rest in peace. I didn't forget you. From Jabalia camp to go to Cairo, to London, to Harvard, everywhere, I worked hard to achieve it. And in memory of my daughters, because in my life I am in debt to my mother, my wife, and my daughters. And I fully believe in the role of girls and women and the role of education. It's time to invest in education of girls and women if we want to change this world. Daughters for Life was established for education of girls and women in the Middle East, because a healthy educated girl and woman will raise a healthy, educated children, husband, family, community, and nation. Let us try and give them this opportunity to make a difference in this world. It's time to do that. Sisters and brothers, this is our world. I came here because I believe in you. I believe in you. Have faith. Have hope. But most important, to live here and to take action. And that this world, it's ours. And we don't want to look backwards. The history is to learn from it. And the priority in life is the present and the future. But who is the present and the future? It's our children who are the present and the future. And we need to inherit and to pass them the legacy of a safe, secure, a free and healthy future. Thank you.